Hi, I'm Pam Cullen from 3 Mile Pond Girl Creates, and today I'd like to show you how I made this really pretty Christmas card. And we're going to be using several different products. We're going to be using a couple of die sets, embossing folder, and we're going to be using this really pretty Cork Specialty paper today, which I really like that, and I think it gives this card a little bit of a rustic look. So this is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be using that large Christmas pine cone die, but we're going to be cutting it up a little bit and only using pieces of it. And then on the inside of the card, I just brought some more of that cork paper inside and put this sentiment on it. So I love these colors, the cherry cobbler and the evening evergreen. Along with the soft succulent in this, I think it is a really warm and pretty card. So let me show you the products that we're going to be using today, and then we'll get started making this card. So like I mentioned, we're going to be using this really pretty, it comes in, you get two 12 by 12 sheets, and let me tell you exactly what the name of it is. Cork Specialty paper. And the interesting part about this paper is that it looks like it would be really thick, but it is not thick at all. It's very thin and usable, but it actually has like a soft, it feels soft and like a corkboard. So it really is kind of neat paper, and I think it does add a nice feature to this card. So we're going to be using that. And then we are going to be using several of the dies. Like I said, we're going to use that the Christmas pine cone dies, which there's a lot to this, but this is a really, really great die set. The whole set is pretty, but you get both of these dies and all of these pine cones in here. So this is like a layered. And I've used this before in one of my other videos, so you may remember that, but this is the bottom piece, this is the top piece, and it's the same with the pine cones. You get the solid piece and the more detailed pieces on those. So we're going to be using both of these dies, and then we're going to be using one each of these and then two each of these, which is really nice that they give you so many. Like if you're mass producing cards, it's really nice that you get more than one, so you can die cut a bunch at the same time, which is really helpful. So there again, we're going to be using the pine cones for this, these dies for this, and while we're talking about dies, the other one we're going to be using for our sentiment piece here, this little piece here, is the Tasteful Label dies, and we're going to be using this one right here to cut out our sentiment piece. So those are the dies that we're going to be using, and then we are going to be using on this one, I didn't do any embossing on that top piece of paper, but I got thinking about it and thought that it might look nice to have a little bit more texture on here with this. So this time for this card, we're going to use the bark embossing folder, and we're going to just go ahead and run this cherry cobbler piece through the bark embossing folder and put that on. So we'll be using that. And then we are going to be using our sentiments today, come from this Whimsical Trees stamp set, and we're going to use the Let Your Heart Be Light for the front, and the May the Love of the Season Warm Your Home and Fill Your Heart for the inside piece of our card. We're using this really pretty evening evergreen chevron weave ribbon, and we're going to put that on our card, and that will kind of cover those two pieces. You know, it will hide where we're putting that together. And then we're going to just be using our evening evergreen ink with just one ink color today. So I believe that's all the products that we're going to be using. So now let me show you the pieces that we're going to need to put this card together. So let me gather those up here. Okay, sorry. All right, here we go. So we're going to need an 11 by 4 1/4 piece of evening evergreen cardstock scored at 5 1/2. Then we have our 5 1/4 by 4 piece of Very Vanilla for the inside of our card. We have the, I've already embossed this piece of Cherry Cobbler, and that piece is 2 3/4 by 4. And then we have our piece of Cork Specialty paper that is 4 by 2 1/2. Then we have a small piece of Evening Evergreen in 2 1/4 by 3/4 for our sentiment. And then we have, I think we need this. Oh, yes, we do. Sorry about that. It's just flipped over. We have our scrap pieces of paper. We need a scrap piece of Very Vanilla for our sentiment. And we need scraps of crumb cake and soft suede for our pine cones. And then I have a small piece of 4 by 1/2 of the cork paper that we're going to use on the inside of our card. So there's our pieces, and so I think we can go ahead and get started with this card. So I think the first thing that we'll do is go ahead and do our stamping, and then we can get that those pieces put out of the way. So like I said, we're just going to be using the Evening Evergreen ink for this. And so we're going to stamp that Let Your Heart Be Light on the scrap piece of Very Vanilla. We'll go over here. And you want to leave a little bit of room because we're going to need to die cut that. So you want to come in just a little bit on your scrap and stamp that. And then we're going to go ahead and put that May the love of the season warm your home and fill your heart. And we're going to put that for the inside sentiment for our card. I'm going to put that like right here. Okay, so we have all our stamping done. That's all the stamping we need to do for this card. So we'll set those aside. And I have already stamped and die cut my sentiment piece out. So we'll have that, we have that all ready to go. So we'll set those aside, and we'll go ahead and bring in our card base, and we'll go ahead and put these pieces on. We're going to put that Cherry Cobbler piece here, and then we're going to put that cork piece below it, and then use the ribbon, put that piece of ribbon on in between. Gives it a nice, gives it some nice, I can't come up with a word. It's going to look really pretty on the front of the card. How's that? Oh my brain is not working today. All right, so there's our, oh, I think that's going to look nice on there. So then we're going to take our piece of cork and see, it's real, you know, it gives you the idea that it's really thick paper, but it's not at all. And it's really easy to work with. So then we're going to line this up with the bottom and the sides, because like I said, that piece of ribbon is going to cover this up. I guess I'm going to cut that exactly straight, but that won't show. All right, so there we have that. So then I'm going to use a piece of tear and tape to put that ribbon on with, and I'm going to just cut a little piece off and see how I did here. Wow, I think, whoa, look at that. I did pretty good judging that. So we're going to go ahead and put that on, and then we're just going to take this top piece off. Whoops, I'm going to try to. There we go. So just peel that back. And then we're just going to take a piece of our ribbon, and this is frayed a little bit on this end, so I'm just going to trim that a little bit before we put it on here. Okay, even, there we go. So then we're just going to line this up with it. Oops. line this up with the edge. Whoops, I'm not making that any better, am I? Let's try this again. There we go. All right, so we're going to line this up with the edge. Try to get that straight. Just set that right down like that. Then we'll trim this edge. There we go. Let's get those off of there. Okay, so that's the base. We've pretty much got the base of our card done. And now we're going to go ahead and do this piece. Well, let's put our pine cones together first. I already put our large piece together, but I'm going to show you, I have another piece ready, and I'm going to show you how I did that. But it's a lot of gluing, and I didn't want to have glue all over my fingers when I was doing the video. So this is the piece that I cut. That's the base piece out of the soft succulent. And then this piece is out of the evening evergreen, and this is the layering piece that goes on the top. And so then you just line these up. What I did with mine, but you can do it several different ways. You can use the sponge and your silicone mat and sponge the glue on, either sponge the glue on here or sponge the glue on here and add this. Or I just put glue on the large places of this pine cone a little bit, like a small amount of glue. And then I added this piece and lined it up on top of that. So that's how you will get this piece here. So what we're going to use from this piece is I want to get the 3 pine cones. So we're going to go ahead and use this piece of this right here. So I'm just going to carefully just trim here. Hope my head is not in the camera. Going to trim this off here and trim this a little bit here and here. And see, this is pretty forgiving. It's not going to show that I even cut that. So there we go. We have that piece right here. There's our large pine cone, 2 small pine cones. And we're going to go ahead and place this like right about here on our card. And then I wanted to have a little bit more, because I felt like there was too much open space there. And so I wanted to have a little bit more of that greenery. So I took just another piece of this, and I think I took this piece right here. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and trim this off. And this part is not going to show once we get those pine cones. Once we put this pine cone on, that's going to tuck right underneath there, and you're not even going to see that it's an added piece. It kind of just blends in with the rest of the greenery. All right, I think I got a little piece right here I still need to cut, and then we should, there we go. And I see, if I can get this out or not, but I see there's one little piece of the green here. Nope, of course that's glued right there. Oh, got it. Okay, so see, then this piece is going to tuck right underneath here. And see, it looks a little awkward right now. I mean, it's not covered very well, but once we get that pine cone on, then we can tuck that underneath, and it won't show very well. And I did wonder, and we can try this, I did wonder if we could tuck this on the inside, tuck this piece on the inside of our card, but I was afraid that it would be a little too bulky in there. So anyway, you have some spare pieces to use on another card if you want to, but for this card, I'm just going to go ahead and use these 2 pieces. So we've got that ready to go. Let's go ahead and put our pine cones together, because this is kind of the same way you would put together your pine bough pieces. But it's just a little bit less gluing. So I thought that this would be better to show you than doing the large piece. So I've showed you this on other videos that I just have this little piece of sponge, and I just keep it in a cup, clean it every once in a while, but it makes it really easy to put the glue on these really intricate pieces, because you don't want a lot of the glue showing through your openings there, because it will show on your card. So I just usually dab that a little bit, and then try to hold on to this with this a little bit, and then just dab that glue onto your pine cone pieces. This is probably not the best thing to use, but I'm trying to avoid getting a ton of it on my fingers here. So we go ahead and just, again, dab that glue on. And see, when you do it this way, you get a good coverage of the glue, but when you turn it over, you can't see that glue through the openings. And so it's a good way to do this and not have a lot of glue showing. So then we're just going to line these up as best we can and put those together. Like this. And really there's no, I mean, it's not, you know, you don't have to get them together exactly perfect. I'm just going to put a little bit more on the top there. All right. And so then I've got that last one. Put this on here. All right. There's our pine cones. So let's move this glue out of the way. Bring our pieces back in here. We don't need this piece yet, but we do need this piece to, I'm gonna have to put, actually, while I have that sponge out, a little bit of glue on it. Go ahead and see if I can put some. I do it over here on my silicone mat, so forgive me for a minute. Okay, so I just glued that up a little bit, and I'm gonna put that, just gonna put that down a little bit because that was coming up a little bit more. Okay, so now we're gonna take this piece and we're gonna put these pine cones that we've put together right on here. And we're just gonna glue those on. So we're gonna go ahead and just put a little bit of glue on the back of these pine cones and match them up to the green pieces. This whole set, I just love this so much, and it's probably my Christmas cards to family and friends this year is probably going to be some card made from this suite of products, because it's just so pretty. The paper's beautiful, the dies are beautiful. So yeah, this is a really, really great set. Okay, so there we go. We've got our pine cones on our piece here, and looking for my, like, where's my original card? I'm covering it up there. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead, looks like, yeah, we're gonna put some dimensionals on this piece where these pine cones are, and we're gonna just leave the rest kind of free flowing there. This just will give us a little bit of dimension on this piece, and it will also allow us to be able to tuck that other piece behind there. So we're just going to go ahead and take these backs off. Go. Just going to try to make sure, you want to just make sure that all of your pieces are inside. You don't want anything hanging over, because then it won't go in your envelope well. Okay, so now we just have this piece that we're going to tuck. See what I mean? We tuck that under there. It's going to look like it always belonged there. It always has been there, and it's part of this piece. So we're just going to glue little bits of the bottom of this. Not going to go too far up on this, and then we're just going to stick it under there. Glue it down. And there we go. See, and I like, you can let me know in the comments of this video what you like, but I do like adding that that bark embossing folder to that. I think it gives it a really nice texture for the front of this card. I mean, this one doesn't look bad. It's a very pretty card, but this just kind of goes along with the raised pieces and the cork in that. I think it is a really nice addition to the front of the card. All right, so then we just need to put our sentiment piece on the front, and so I just cut that little piece of evening evergreen because I thought it was a nice little, and I'm going to just leave that square and then put this one on. So we're just going to glue this on, and then we'll pop the whole piece up on some dimensionals. So we're going to center this on this green piece. Love the liquid glue because I never can get things straight on the first try. So this gives me time to wiggle things around. All right, so I think that looks good. And then we'll go ahead and put some more dimensionals. We'll put 3 dimensionals on this. Put this right here, front of our card. Go there. So we're almost done. We just need to put that little piece of cork paper, specialty paper on the bottom of this, and then we'll just go ahead and glue down, glue our inside piece, and we're going to be done with this card. So this is my card. We're doing, our team Ingenuity Inkers, we're doing a blog hop for November, and our blog hop this month is to just do any Christmas card. So myself and some of my team members are going to be, the blog hop is going to come out on the 16th, and so this was my card that I came up with for the blog hop. So you'll be able to see my card, plus you'll be able to see some of my team members' cards when this video goes live on November 16th. So I hope you'll go over to my YouTube channel, check it out, go to my blog and check it out. And so now we're just going to put this on the inside of our card. And there we go. There's our card. All done. So I think it's a really pretty, like I said in the beginning, kind of a rustic card. Love that cork paper. I think it gives a really nice, adds a really nice feature to the cards. So don't worry, all of the measurements and the products I used to make this card will be on my blog. And I would love it if you would make a comment. Let me know, do you like the embossed one better or the one that's not embossed on the top of that cherry cobbler? This month, you guys, this month we have an awesome join offer for you, and I would love it if you would join my team. So from the 4th of November to November 30th, if you sign up to be a demonstrator for my team, then you get $125 worth of product for what is usually $99, this month is $75. So you get all of those items, those Stampin' Up! Items that you have on your wish list. And if your list is like mine, it's a mile long. So you get your choice of your Stampin' Up! Products. And this is for anybody who just wants to get discounts on your orders, or if you're ready to start your Stampin' Up! Business. I would love to have you join my team, and I would help you all along the way, get you started. If you have any questions, I'd love to chat with you about that. But this is a really great time if you've been sitting on the fence and thinking, maybe I should do that. This is the time, because this is a really, really great offer. So again, if you want to talk to me about that, I'd love to chat. It's like, if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator, and we can chat about that as well. And if you're watching this video for the first time, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the little bell so you'll get notifications when I post a new video. So anyway, guys, I hope you really like this card. Let me know if you do. And thank you so much for stopping by my channel, and hope to see you soon. Take care.